Hello friends, it's Christine Vicenti from Queen City Stamp Art. Today I'm bringing you a inspired by color video featuring real red, coastal cabana, and black. We're going to make this cute little thank you note using the stamp set called Varied Vases from Stampin' Up. This is a photopolymer stamp set, so the images are made out of photopolymer, so they're clear and easy to see and use. This is a wonderful set, tons of great vases, lots of different flower ideas, and some wonderful sentiments. So we're going to have fun using this stamp set today. In addition to the stamp set, we're going to be using a couple of other supplies. I cut the rectangle panel for this card using the rectangle stitch framelit dies from Stampin' Up. These are awesome because they cut a stitch line on both sides of the panel, so you get the stitched on the panel that pops out, but you also get a stitch line on the hole that's left in the negative space. So that's really nice feature. And then we're going to be using the pine wood planks embossing folder to create some texture on the panel here, the front panel. So let's get started. The first thing we're going to do is emboss this panel, because I feel like that's a good place to start. Put this off to the side. Here's my embossing machine. Here we go. So the way this works, if you have a Sizzix machine, these embossing folders are really super thick. They're 3D embossing folders, so they give a great impression. So what we're going to do is lay it in the folder, lay the cardstock in the folder, and I like to line it up with the top so that it's nice and straight. And then these don't need the full sandwich. They don't need the full, like normally you normally would put your cutting platform, then your embossing folder, then a top platform, and then you could run it through the machine. These don't need that because this is an extra thick embossing folder. So what we're going to do, actually I can't use this magnetic plate. I gotta get my other plate, just a second. Okay, so Sizzix platforms come with, the multi-purpose plate comes with the platform has the different tabs. And so for embossing, you normally would lift one of the tabs and put that through your machine and let the tab stick out. And then we're going to lay down the embossing folder in this case, and then put a plate on top, and then run it through the machine. This will give the piece of paper a nice impression of the pine wood plank. You never want to force anything through your machine, so if it feels like it's too hard to go through, it probably is, and you should back out and try a different layering configuration. But that looks great. So that's my little panel. Get this out of the way. I'll set this on the side. Here we go. Now we have this. So the next step is going to be to add this layer to the card. So we're going to use a little black twine that I have left over from a paper pumpkin kit. And we are going to tie a bow here, just a simple bow, nothing fancy, and then adjust the tails. And trim that off. Okay, set that aside. So now we have this little panel for the front of the card. See for placement. Yeah, this is good. Okay, so now we're going to glue this to the base of the card, and I'm just using the Tombow Mono Multi Glue. I like this glue. I think this is a great wet glue. It dries super fast, but it gives you a tiny bit of leeway so that you can position what you're gluing together. You can move it slightly before it glues down completely. So it's a little bit more forgiving sometimes than the snail adhesive. But I think all those different adhesives have their place. So here we go. So we're just going to let this dry on the side here while we stamp our panel. So this stamp set lends itself beautifully to masking. And masking is a technique where you block off part of an image so that you can stamp on top of it to make the image you covered look like it's forward. In this case, what we're going to do is I have pre-cut a mask. So I get these sticky notes that are super sticky, and they have sticky all the way. The whole Post-it note has sticky, except this little tiny little edge doesn't. But the rest of it is all sticky, so they work perfectly for masks. So I keep those in my drawer. And what we're going to do is we're going to stamp the vase in Coastal Cabana ink on the panel where we want it. I'm going to do it a little off to the side, like that. And then what we're going to do is take the little mask that I cut. So what I did was I inked up my stamp, stamped it onto this sticky note material, and then took my scissors and cut it out really close to the edge, right along the edge. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cover this vase. I guess the reason I should tell you the reason why. I want the flowers to be in the vase, but I don't want to see the stem on the outside. So by doing this, I'm going to cover the vase, and then when I stamp the flower stalk, in red, when I stamp this in the real red ink, I'll be able to position it over the vase where I want it, and then you won't see the stem on the inside. So that's perfect. And then I'm going to take the inside of the flowers, and I'm going to stamp off once on scrap paper to lighten the ink, and then I'm going to line that up with the flowers. Pardon my head. There we go. And now the flowers are stamped in the vase, just like that. So now we have this stamped panel. Perfect. So now we can put the card together. Let's get the sentiment strip here. Get that ready. There we go. And then we're going to trim the little ends on this to make it a little fishtail. There we are. And now we'll put it together. So let's see, I need some dimensional adhesive. Here we go. So I want to pop this up over the string. So we're going to use some dimensional adhesive to do that. Off those release papers, and I'm going to stick this right here. Make sure it's straight. There we go. And then this little piece is going to need a piece of dimensional 2 for this side. It's going to be glued to the card, and then that will need a little pop up for the, stick it up there. So it's the same height as the, and we'll stick this here. Like that. And then the finishing touch is a little rhinestone gem to give a little sparkle on there. Pick that up and place it right here. And there we go. There's our little thank you note using the Varied Vases stamp set in the color combination of Real Red, Coastal Cabana, and Black. I hope you enjoyed the video today. Thanks so much for watching.